Hi, Teri here from Stamping Magic. Welcome back to my channel. Today's project is a little milk carton box. It measures 2 inches cubed, although the full height is 3 3/4 inches. I've used some of the Whale of a Time 6-inch Designer Series paper pack, as well as the Whale Done stamp set. These are all the measurements you need for all the elements required to create this project. So if you're interested in reproducing it, take a screenshot so you can refer to it later. I'm starting with half a standard sheet of Pretty Peacock card. Now this wants to go in the Simply scoreboard with the longest side across the top, and I'm going to score down at 2 inches, 4 inches, 6 inches and 8 inches. And this leaves me a 1/4 inch tab on the right hand side. Now if you're using half a sheet of 8.5 by 11 inch card, your tab will be a 1/2 inch wide, so it's a little bit wider than A4 users. Rotate the card anti-clockwise a 1/4 turn, so you've got the short side across the top. Score down at 1/2 inch, 2 inches and 4 inches. Turn the cardstock back so the long side is across the top and score down at 3 inches just to that first horizontal score line and 7 inches to the same score line. I now need to do some additional scoring on both side sections. Now these are the sections that have that additional little score at the top, and the scoring I'm going to do is in the rectangular box below it, and I'm going to go from the bottom of that little score line to the bottom of the rectangular box on the left and the right side, so it creates a little triangle. I'm going to use my Simply Scored stylus and a metal ruler to do this. And you want to keep those scores just in that little rectangular box. And this is how your card should now look. The 1/2 inch horizontal score line is the top of the box. The sections with the triangles near the top are the side sections, and the plain sections will be the front and the back. Now down at the bottom right you've got a thin rectangular piece that needs to be removed, and I'll slant cut the top and the bottom of the remaining piece there, and then I'm going to cut up the score lines on the base to create tabs. So starting with that bottom right rectangle, I'm going to cut that away and slant cut the top and the bottom of the remaining 1/4 inch, in my case, tab. Then I'm going to cut up the vertical score lines along the base, and I'm going to remove that score line, so I'm making 2 cuts on each. And it just removes a tiny slither of card. It just helps things fold in a little neater. And then my last one. And that's all the cutting required. I'm now going to fold on all the scored lines and burnish them with my bone folder. So the bottom 2 horizontal scores are folded back in the normal way, and then that 1/2 inch score line is going to be folded forward, and you want to burnish that one really well. The side scores and that tab all are folded back as normal. And finally, the little triangle sections, they need to be valley folds, so you can sort of pinch them in the right direction if you want to. It's not actually necessary because they'll find their own way later. I'm going to add the papers to the box while it's still flat. I'll start putting the box together by adding glue to that little side tab. And you could use tape adhesive if you prefer. And then I'm going to close the other end onto it and give it a good press down. Now to make up the base of the box. Now the side with the join and without the triangles scored is the back. So you want to fold in the side tabs first of all. Now I'm going to add a little glue just to secure it. Again, you could use tape if you prefer. Try and keep your box nice and square. Now the tabs don't go right across, but I mean that's not a problem at all. Then we're going to fold in the back tab, so you need to remember which is going to be the back. And then finally the front tab. And here you can see that tab is just short a little bit, and that's because I'm using A4. Now if you're using 8.5 by 11, the gap will be a little bit bigger, but as I said, it's not an issue. All you need to do to close your box is push the sides in and the front and back will come together. For my closure this time, I'm going to use one of our now retired mini library clips. Now these came in white and silver, so I'm just using a silver one. You could use any clip or peg that you have for this. I think I'll actually move it to the middle. Now if it's possible, I do like to add a little piece of ribbon or twine onto the clip. This time I'm going to use some linen thread and just tie it into a bow around one of the ends. It is a little bit fiddly to do this, but it can be done. This is the Whale Done stamp set, and today I'm using the whale, the seahorse and Thanks a Ton sentiment. I'll be stamping on some normal weight Whisper White card, and I'm going to start with Pretty Peacock ink. I'll stamp my whale first of all, and then my sentiment. I'm going to use the coordinating whale builder punch to punch out my whale. And then using Calypso Coral ink, I can stamp the seahorse, and this will have to be cut out by hand. I'll be die cutting the sentiment using one of the Stitch Sew Sweetly dies, and this is the smallest one in that rectangular grouping. And when I die cut it, I'll ensure the sentiment is towards the left hand side so I can get the seahorse in on the right. I'm going to darken the eye slightly by using my basic black Stampin' Right marker. Now you could use any black pen to do this if you wanted to do the same. And then I'm just going to add a little glue to the back of my seahorse and then position him onto my sentiment. I've gone ahead and added some dimensionals to the back of the sentiment and the back of the whale. So I'm just going to remove the backings and then position each of these onto my little box. And that's it, my little box is now complete. Super cute. I have made a couple more. I used the Boho Indigo product medley for this first one, and the closure is just a mini peg. Again, it's retired, I'm afraid. Now on the base of this one you can see what I mean by if you use 8.5 by 11 card you get a bigger gap. Not that it matters. And then finally I made a Christmas one, and this one I used some of the Feels Like Frost 6-inch designer series paper. I didn't put it on the back this time. I used the Perfectly Plaid stamp set for the tree and for the sentiment Itty Bitty Christmas. And I used a different type of clip again for the closure. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this project. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notifications bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. Bye for now.